Chelsea 3, Nottingham Forest 2. Another victory for Pochettino and his men. The super subs coming up trumps for Chelsea. Reece James making a long-awaited return, comes onto the field of play, creates that winning goal for Jackson, who, by the way, has more open play goals, I'm told, than Mo Salah this season. He's finishing very, very strong. Raheem Sterling, the much maligned Raheem Sterling, really kickstarting Chelsea, getting them back into life after ex-Chelsea boy Callum Hudson-Odoi gave Nottingham Forest that 2-1 lead. Looked as though he'd secured, 100% secured, Nottingham Forest into the Premier League next season. And it was such an interesting game, so much of the ball by Chelsea, more of the shots and opportunities by Nottingham Forest. A really good end-of-season game, but Chelsea come out on top again. And if you'd have watched the squad this morning, I actually predicted a 3-1 win for Chelsea, so slightly off. And it didn't go the way around I thought it would. I thought Chelsea would be a little more dominant, would have the majority of the chances, but they're becoming a more clinical team. They're becoming a more mature team. There are things to criticize with Chelsea. I 110% get that. I 100% get the first half. I thought they scored a great goal. We'll talk about that goal in a minute. But it was a poor performance overall from Chelsea, but they turned it round. They went 2-1 down and their heads didn't drop. This Chelsea team, 3 months ago and beyond, would have crumbled. Maybe at 1-1, definitely at 2-1 down. And there's been much to criticize about Poch. And I was a content creator that looked at it and thought, how can he survive the situation that he is in? And he's coming through it now. They've found something, and they weren't perfect today, but no team ever is week in, week out. But they found a way, they persevered, and they came out on top. Yes, more players are needed. Yes, higher quality squad is needed. Yes, some more mature players are essential. But Poch has started to find his formula, and with players returning. And I really like the formation they ended the game in the sort of 3-4-2-1, with Reece James playing in that sort of centre-back role, but still with the ability to go forward, especially if Caicedo or somebody falls into his space. It means you can have Gusto focusing purely on going forward, which he's really good at. We know Reece James is a top defender. I really liked the shape that Chelsea were in for the final part of the game. I thought that it just worked really, really well. Really, really well indeed. And it gets the best out of everybody. I thought it was another game where I don't think he was the greatest defensively today, but I liked what Cucurella was doing, especially on the ball. He reminded me so much of the Cucurella that Chelsea signed. The player that we all watched at Brighton and thought, Jesus Christ, look how good he is. Really impressed with him today, personally. Palmer, again, I thought had another very, very good game. Caicedo, I thought was very, very good indeed. The only thing that was missing today from Chelsea often was the final ball, or it was putting the ball in the back of the net. And that was up until the 80th minute, and it all changed. And that's the great thing about football. When you have a base of a decent performance, so you can maintain the ball, you're still dangerous, you're still working it to the edge of the box, there's always a way back. Even if they were today, by the way, Chelsea, susceptible to the counter-attack. I mean, I think it's 60 or 61 goals conceded by Chelsea this season, the most they've ever done in a Premier League campaign. They have to fix that going into next year. I'm not sitting here and pretending they are this picture-perfect side, but they get starting to slowly but surely cook. Slowly but surely, they're beginning to turn into a dangerous team. And you can see that. You can really see it. And as I say, the summer transfer window is important. They need to bring more names in. They need to bring some more experience into their side. But Poch is starting to get this to work right now. He's not putting square pegs in round holes. He's not experimenting with crazy things. He's playing individuals in their natural positions or their best positions, and they are reaping the rewards. They truly, truly are. And I think the one thing Chelsea fans should take from this is the fact that they would have been dead and buried earlier on this season and for the whole of last season when losing the lead, when going 2-1 down. They would have absolutely capitulated. but there is a mental strength that is starting to develop within this Chelsea side. As ever, I want your thoughts and I want your feelings. Reece James is generational. If you guys go back, we once debated this on Friday night on the terrace many years ago, and somebody asked me who I would want out of Trent and Reece James. At that point, I said Reece James. I don't think he's as good at passing or crossing the ball as Trent. But I think when you look at his passing range, his creativity, coupled with his ability to defend, I went with Reece. Reece James has obviously had some real issues with his hamstring. And I think he should be a player that the hierarchy of Chelsea look at with a question mark over him, saying, should we keep him or move him on? Nothing to do with his ability or his dedication or his impact on games. If he has another bad hamstring injury or two, that will probably finish him off from ever getting to the tip-top level you need a player like him to be. Having said all of that, when you just look at his performance when he came on today, I mean, he only played for 11 minutes of normal time, 18 minutes in totality, and the impact he had upon the game was huge, along with, by the way, and really equipped himself well. Gusto the same, and look, maybe there's a plan in this to have James and Gusto on at the same time, and that could certainly work if James can stay fit. But yeah, absolutely top-class player. Nothing is going to change my mind about that at all. And I want to shout out Jackson as well. I want to shout out Jackson because when I watched him in pre-season, I saw a really tidy player. We then just saw someone who really flattered to deceive earlier on in the season, and he rightfully was criticized. Moved out to the left. His overall play was sometimes good, but was criticized. But again, he's another individual who is starting to settle as the system. And systems are so key in football. I don't believe that footballers are system players per se. I believe all footballers need a good system, generally speaking, to come alive. You get certain players that have an like a Carl Palmer, who has a Cole Palmer. I do. People say it sounds like I say Carl, but no, Cole. They're a little bit more malleable because of their overarching ability. But most football players need a good system. And you now look at him, and I think it's 4 goals in these last 3 games. He's starting to come alive, and if he can turn this end of season form into more consistency, there's a player in there. Still misses too many gilt edge chances for me, but he can work on that. I believe you can become a better finisher. I believe you can even work on your composure. In every facet of life, you can work on your composure. But I wanted to congratulate Nico Jackson because he's been much maligned. He's been rightfully criticized at times. I think too many Chelsea fans turned their back on him too early. And I'm not saying you shouldn't sign Victor Osimhen. I'm just stating that there's a place in this Chelsea squad and team for Jackson moving forward because there is still a player in there. And just as Mr. Miyagi would look at a tree that doesn't look like a bonsai, he would say, I can see the bonsai in you. And that's how I view Nico Jackson. There is a very, very, very good football player in there. There really, really is. We finally got what we wanted all along. Bring him being proactive. Took off Madueke and Badiashile at the 54th minute. Great adjustments. And that's a really good point as well. Look, Madueke had a poor game today. You had obviously Chalobah on the playing right back. There was nothing coming down your right-hand side. Bringing on Gusto as an example, then Reece James a little bit later on. I think Reece James came on a bit later, did he? Yes, it was 20 minutes later. But it gave the right-hand side so much more potency. There was more attacking going on down that side. You could see a real difference. And it was proactive. It really, really was proactive. And they were positive today, Chelsea. Just the end product wasn't there for large parts of the game. The opening goal was brilliant. The pass from Palmer was out of this world. And Mykhailo Mudryk delivered because he was just quick, decisive, didn't have time to think, put it away. And yeah, look, I think that it was a very proactive day for Chelsea. Take the win, three EPL wins in a row, first time in ages at this stage of the season. But players seem to think they were playing West Ham again, lethargic. Yeah, look, I don't know if again, you're going to view it differently to me as a Chelsea fan. I didn't think Chelsea were lethargic. I just felt as though these young players went through some periods of the game where they tried everything and it wasn't quite working. Then the substitutions were made and Chelsea got better. And then you got caught, really. You kind of got caught in the 74th minute. They were dangerous on the counter attack, but then you persevered and you got through that bad moment. And I think I would take a lot of not praise from that. I would take a lot from that. Reece James, he's one of our own, is what Moose Wizard says. He certainly is. Sterling changed the game, but no one will say it. Sterling was excellent when he came on. He was excellent. And look, he's another player who has been rightfully criticised at times for Chelsea this season and last season. But today, he was excellent. There's no doubt about it. He really was good. Nico Jackson is definitely better than Højlund. Listen, I'm not getting into those conversations. As I say, I think if you put Nicholas Jackson in this Man United system, which is nowhere near as good as Chelsea's system, you'd also see a player that would absolutely struggle. But Nico Jackson's a very, very good football player. He really, really is. If we could get a good system working at Man United, then we can have that conversation. But I think Nico Jackson doing very, very well indeed and deserves praise. Nottingham Forest playing like they still needed a point. Well, they needed it to be mathematically sure. Now, I think looking at the table right now, they've got 9. So, yeah, I mean, there's 22. Sorry, I'm a liar. There's 11, 12 difference in goals. Now, if they lost 6 or 7-0 and Luton won by 5, 6, 7 goals, then they could get relegated. It's very unlikely to happen. But they just wanted a point, didn't they? They got that 1 point. Nothing that Luton could do would have changed it. So, yeah. Chalobah shouldn't be sold. Another great performance from him. He will thrive anywhere. Welcome back to my captain, Reece James. This is the thing, Daniel, and I still think this is in the back of the minds of a lot of Chelsea fans. The vast majority of your players up for sale this summer are academy players that have come through your academy or that are considered or don't have any debt against them because they make you 100% profit under FFP. It looks like you're going to make Europe now, which means you've got even less to spend or you've got to reduce the outgoings even more because of the 70% rule that comes in. So it's going to be very intriguing to see who Chelsea sell and who they bring in to replace them. But yeah, Shalah's been very good since he came back into the team. I've been impressed with him. But I do still think Chelsea overall have got to aim for better because you need to aim to have some of the, you need better than Chalobah. Should it be part of your squad? Probably. Absolutely probably. Mudryk has also been shafted as well, but gets more game time. Agenda galore. Has been shifted. You have to expand on what you mean by that, my friend. I don't know what you mean. Jackson makes a lot of mistakes, but keeps going. Top attitude. Just imagine if this team is fully fit and gels together. Well, this is the thing. Yeah, you're right about Jackson. You're absolutely right, my friend. He is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but there is a player in there, and if he can be fine-tuned, if he can have some of these mistakes worked out, he could get better. But if he doesn't get better than this, I still think he could be a very, very adequate member of your squad. Maybe just not the leading number 9. Because everybody develops at different stages of their career. Terry, check those Nonny stats for Don. He didn't have a good game today. We know that. Agree. I wish we could sell the Monaco boys and have Trevor in the squad, then buy a better centre-back. Yeah, I think that's the way that you should go, but that's just me. I'm going to bring the panel out momentarily. We've got Mo backstage. We're not too sure where the other man are yet, but so hopefully they'll be coming through very soon. Husam's going to be on with us as well. When you guys say no sound, there is sound. Surely there's sound. I've been streaming for 14 minutes. Sam and Mo are with me now, boys. I think it's an impressive win for Chelsea tonight in terms of coming back, not crumbling as they've done many, many times before. What's your thoughts, Sam?
Stop this bullshit, bro. Stop this bullshit, bro.
Be quiet, Mo. My thoughts is as
Stop
follows.
this bullshit, bro. Here comes people. The agenda's here. Here comes. Embrace yourself. Go ahead.
I think Pochettino should win manager of the season. That's my honest opinion. I think Pochettino should 100% be manager of the season. I think the fact that bums like Mudryk and Madueke and players like that are in 6th place right now, you get me 7th or 6th or whatever, he should win manager of the season. Absolutely unbelievable by Pochettino once again, just dominating, Nottingham Forest, all the chances that they created, unbelievable. Jackson alone, I know he scored at the end. He could have scored about 4 goals in the game, 3 goals in the game. He just missed all the chances. He was literally, controlling certain balls with his heels. Even Cole Palmer had a chance in front of goal. He missed it. Even Mudryk had the chance in front of goal. He missed it. Even Nkunku had a chance in front of goal. He missed it. I could go on and on and on with the chances that Chelsea created. And this is the type of stuff that we keep telling Chelsea fans who are absolutely clueless, who think Pochettino's at fault for what's happening at Chelsea. Pochettino ain't at fault for what's happening at Chelsea. Pochettino is the best performer out of everyone at Chelsea Football Club. You all need to blame Clown Lake for putting you in this position to begin with. You're out here busy selling hotels instead of focusing on the football because the direction of the club is so clueless. Absolutely, I've never seen a more clueless club this whole season. There's no more clueless club in terms of direction than Clear Lake and Chelsea. I think today Chelsea just showed exactly what they're doing right now. The Pochettino, everyone's saying, oh, Poch has no system, he has no style. No, he does have a system and he does have a style. His style is 4-2-3-1, pressing from the front. I can describe everything that he does. It's so obvious, and the players have started performing. This has nothing to do with Pochettino. Pochettino's been a great manager the whole time. He's a fantastic manager. Yes, he's not Pep or Klopp, but he's the best that Chelsea can get right now, and this is a fact. And Chelsea fans think that sacking him is going to solve any problems. They ain't going to solve no problem. So right now, they're doing really well. They won 3 games in a row. They're in 7th place. And I think next game, obviously, if if Newcastle drop points, then they might end up being in 6th place. And if he finishes in 6th, then Pochettino should 100% win manager of the season. If I had a vote, if I was a journalist, I'm voting Pochettino because he got these bunch of mediocre crap players to 6th place. I have no idea how he done it. I'm taking more players than Wolves than I'm doing Chelsea. The ones that.
Thank God you don't have a vote.
One second.
Yeah, exactly. Your vote's fraudulent. Your vote's
fraudulent.
Let me finish.
Today, Chelsea scored 3 goals. I think they could have scored 4 or 5 easily. And this is just the story of Chelsea's season. I have to give credit to the players now. At the end, I'm actually going to say the truth. I have to give credit to the players for actually stepping up towards the end. The end of the season now that there's no more pressure or whatever it is, they've stepped up and they've actually shown glimpses of what they could become. We've seen the best of Jackson over the last 4 or 5 games. We've seen the best of the likes of Mudryk and Madueke and all these players towards the last 4 or 5 games. And they've stepped up and they started performing. I guess a little bit of Premier League experience is always helpful. So, yeah, well done. You guys are 7th.
Listen, one challenge I've got for you on that before we try and get a little bit onto the game. Yes. I understand your defense of Poch.
Yes.
But, me and Don have clashed over a few things. But the one I think the area that we agree and I want to ask you about is, what about the games where he's playing Colwell at left back, where he's playing Chilwell on the left-hand side of midfield so regularly this season? And again, this is the one where me and Don would probably disagree. I think keeping Enzo and Caicedo playing together for so long has been a problem. And I don't think it's about Enzo not being good enough per se, but since he's been out the team, they have been better overall. I know today that they had to rely on some substitutions, but that happens. Surely, I'm not saying Poch is to blame for everything. Never once said that. But surely some of the criticism of him is fair.
Yes. 100% some of the criticism of him is fair. I think the stuff that Poch needs to criticize for is the way that Chelsea defend and set-piece defending. Those 2 things are 100% objective, constructive criticisms of the manager. 100%. And if anyone said that, I agree. In terms of chopping and changing, Terry, sometimes when you go to a new club, you need to figure out what works and what doesn't work. This is the problem with these Chelsea fans. I told you, the problem is the fan base. This is the biggest problem. They're just not used to the step-by-step stuff that takes time. They just want directly win. They have an Abramovich mindset with Todd Bowley players. Make it make sense. It doesn't work. Doesn't work that way. Also, one of the reasons why Poch chopped and changed so much, and even Andrew will tell you this as a Chelsea fan, is the amount of injuries that they've had. Nkunku comes in, plays a little bit, and then he's injured. And then Reece James comes in, plays a little bit, and then he's injured. And then Gusto's injured. And then Chilwell's injured. And then Colwell's injured. And then Cucurella's injured. And then their centre-back partners have been injured. And even Sanchez got injured. That's why Petrovic started to begin with. This is the type of stuff I'm saying. All agendas aside, Chelsea have been absolutely screwed with injuries this season. That's why, by definition, he's had to change stuff around a lot. Out of all the Chelsea players who hasn't been injured this whole year, Gallagher. That's it. The rest of them have all had injuries at the point in time this season.
Yeah, look,
So
injuries.
that help.
Yeah, I mean, injuries certainly play a part, and I think that's the problem with a lot of these conversations, Sam, is that they're always far too imbalanced. So of course, the injuries that Chelsea have had, the injuries that Newcastle have had, the injuries that Man United have had, have impacted the amount of points we've got this season.
100%.
Because if Arsenal or City had as many injuries as we did, they'd probably still be up near the top. But they definitely wouldn't have as many wins as they had now, depending on what players were out. But of course, I think it's a balance of everything, which is key. We'll come back to that in a minute. Andrew, really good win to come back. What I said earlier, and I'd love to get your take on this, is it wasn't the best Chelsea performance we've seen in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks. But to be 2-1 down, to make some proactive changes and to show the mental strength to recover has been something hugely missing from Chelsea for a couple of years now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll credit Poch for making the subs. They worked. We won. But for over an hour, we were crap. Over an hour, we were rubbish. We were too slow on the ball. The passing backwards, not making any runs. It just wasn't working. He changed it. No problem. There was still, I don't know what the tactics were, why we were too slow on the ball, why we were still in the same formation we had been for the last 2.5 games that he's been propped up by the likes of Husam for. So it's a win. It's a win. Performances don't generally matter this time of the season. It's all about wins. We needed to win because Newcastle dropped points. I'm not focusing on Spurs. That's a leap too far with only 2 games left. It has to be focused on Newcastle. We had to win because they dropped points. We got the goals. Reece is back. We're on a bit of a good vibe. Let's just focus on getting into Europe, and then we can talk about Pochettino after that. But he got the subs right, which was good. And by the way, like that super chat said, I thought Sterling came on and actually done very well. So, actually changed the game. So.
Sterling certainly did. And what was your thoughts on seeing Reece James back? I mean, his performance was excellent. There have been some rumors in the media about maybe he's one of the players that might go this summer. Surely they're not going to let someone of I know they're letting a lot of academy players go, but surely it can't be Reece James.
No, I was a bit worried when he's running so hard for that goal. I thought he's going to pull up his hamstring. That's just my evil mind. But it's good to see him back. Just another option, just have him about and be more of a good vibe around. It was good to see him back, and like I say, he performed well. Like you said earlier in the stream, maybe that him and Gusto thing is a thing going forward for the next 2 games. I don't think he'll start against Brighton. He might start against Bournemouth, but just to have that option, have him in the squad, have him around, will help because he is the face of Chelsea at this moment in time. He should be the face of Chelsea, and he did well when he came on. Like I said, Jackson is Jackson. You're just going to have to take that with him. He's going to miss about 8 and score 1. And that's what we got today. So you're just going to have to take that as time until we get a proper striker. But, we won. I don't know how Cole Palmer got man of the match, by the way. I don't know how Sky gave him man of the match, but they gave him man of the match.
I did want to, I don't know if Don's coming on today, but I did want to ask Don, this is not having a pop Chelsea fans at Eden Hazard, but this is why I said to him, I can't take man of the matches as a barometer for why, because we've just seen Cole Palmer get one today that he didn't deserve. They do that. And it's not, listen, Palmer's an excellent player. That pass from him today was amazing. I thought he had a good game. I felt it should have gone to either Sterling or Reece James when they came on. And maybe, I think both of those two had such an amazing impact when they came on. I know they only played for 15 to 20 minutes, but they were the difference makers. But I hear you on that.
I also say it's like, these guys know Cho. So why would you show him onto his right foot? He doesn't have a left foot to begin with. So why would you every time he got down that, they kept showing him onto his right foot? I don't get this in modern football. They do it. All the fullbacks show the wingers onto their good foot. And he was trying it all game. He had one hit in the bar. Who is it? Who is it? Just about.
Sorry.
Gusto.
Was it Gusto? Was it Gusto he was up against? Was it Gusto? Right.
Yeah, I just don't remember which one it was.
Even if you haven't played him, but he's been doing it all game. He hasn't got a left foot. His left foot's very weak, right? So he's going to. So why would you do that? I see modern football happens all the time. Everyone, the opposite winger, they always showed him onto the good foot, and he'd been eyeing that goal up all game. He'd hit the bar about 3 minutes before then. He'd been doing it, and I thought that was it. I thought that's the dagger right there, Cho dagger right there. Half the fan base in the Chelsea fan base would be happy about it anyway because they love for Cobham. But that would just happen. But overall, good fight back. Poch deserves credit for the subs. But it was just frustrating that first 55, 60 minutes. I know we scored, but just the way we were passing and just slow on the ball, just very, very slow on the fight. It was like watching Man City at times today, man. Was slow and lethargic on the ball. It was just very boring.
Andrew, what was frustrating? Can you tell me, please? I'm actually confused. I don't know what frustrated you.
I was frustrated with it was very slow movement when we had the ball. It was just the build up was slow, and why weren't we playing like we had been against the two better teams in the two previous games? Forest stayed up because they didn't need the point in the end today, so they're up. So why don't we just go for it? Go for the next. I'm not even bothered about conceding. We've conceded 60 goals, so it doesn't even matter about how many goals we concede because we conceded 60 goals. Just go for it. Go 2 or 3-0 up, and then start playing slow. And that's what frustrated me. That's all. But we won, and like I said, I just want the 3 points. And because
I'm with him,
points,
actually.
I needed.
I didn't think Chelsea were good today. At all, by the way. I think they were the same play over and over again happened for Nottingham Forest, going down the middle, going to the left, and the guys isolated. It's just the goal came so late by Hudson-Odoi because the quality of Hudson-Odoi is not fantastic. But Pochettino didn't see it. Yes, we say Pochettino, he's creating chances and everything, but also, as I always argue, there are two aspects of the game, defensively and offensively. The same play kept happening and happening as it's a ticking bomb that is waiting to explode, which is at the right side of Chelsea. It was wide open whole game. Hudson-Odoi had a field day, to be honest. But otherwise, he made the subs and everything, created chances. Jackson missed plenty of chances. Yes, Pochettino had a good attacking game, but again, defensively, they're wide open. I don't know, like this Chelsea team, one game they play very well, quick football, and then one game, like what Andrew said, they're very slow on the ball for some reason. Everybody was slow, but I have to give it to Cole Palmer today. I know a lot of people want to say Reece James and Sterling. Again, Cole Palmer today, very good performance, very, very good performance. And that is just to shut and silence everyone that doubted him getting a nomination for Player of the Year. Another great assist. Absolutely fantastic.
Who doubted him?
Tons of people.
Who?
I'm not mentioning names, but tons of people did. They didn't want him.
Mo had a stream about it.
And it absolutely and the thing about it is that there is a lot of viewers that actually agree with this take that he should not be nominated for Player of the Season. He shouldn't. And I'm like, today, this guy, literally every attack, by the way, went through Palmer. Madueke struggled, right? Mudryk scored the goal, but they struggled. And Palmer the one. The 1-2 that he played with Caicedo. What kind of brain does this kid have? The way he saw the space. People don't want to see. Like, to be honest with you, we have to talk about him as a talent, to be honest. First starter as a first teamer in a Premier League team, struggling Premier League team. And he is every game putting these performances, the majority of the games. We have to have a conversation about him because not a lot of people change their teams and change the way they play and go to a team and absolutely smash it like him. Oh, he scores penalties. What about the assist today? Was that a penalty as well? That was a penalty, yes.
Yeah, I mean, people that talk down penalties should be banned from speaking about football. They are real goals, and that only become a thing. Honestly, it only became a thing when Bruno Fernandes came to the Premier League. It did, because I don't remember Liverpool fans discounting Gerrard's penalties. Chelsea fans didn't discount Lampard's penalties. Bruno came to the Premier League, and suddenly penalties weren't looked at as goals. And what's then happened is it's just had a knock-on effect now. So anyone, I mean, you even see the TV companies do it now, where they talk about non-penalty goals. It's only been the last 3 years that they've ever done that, and I find it really strange. If you're good at taking penalties, and Palmer is, because it's not like he misses. If you're very good at taking penalties, that's like criticizing somebody for being good at free kicks. It's weird.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, Terry. I agree with that, Terry. And I have to say, people who say like open play goals and shit like that stuff doesn't matter. Who gives a F about open play goals? Like, all of that stuff is just buzzwords for no reason whatsoever. Like, oh, this guy has more open play goals than this. Okay, so let's just discount all penalties then. the Champions Leagues that clubs have won on penalties. Let's just cancel them all. You know,
we'd
the
have to give
goals
up one of ours each, wouldn't we, Sam, for the last 2 we've won? We'd
Yeah,
have to give up one of ours
exactly.
each.
Hey, Cole Palmer got what, like what, 8 penalties scored? Yeah, you know why he has 8 penalties scored? Because he's good at taking the penalties.
Well, they criticise him if he missed.
But you know why this is never
Sorry, go
ending,
on.
Terry? Let me just say this. You could just cancel set piece goals then. Free kicks. Oh, he scored from a free
But
kick.
people-
It
And
wasn't
everyone that
goal.
crosses the corner and they score,
Oh,
cancel that.
but they do that as well. The same people that discount penalty goals, they say that like an assist from a corner isn't a real assist because you're just hitting and hoping it into the box. Like they don't spend hours a week working on their set pieces to make them better. And the reason why you can't discount them is this. Typically speaking, the teams that get the most penalties are often some of the best attacking teams. You're getting the penalties because you attack very well and it leads to fouls. And it's crazy how people do it. But yeah, Palmer, go on.
I'm just saying, do you know why I love a corner goal? Because they're so rare now. Because every team's corners are crap. They rarely beat the first man nowadays. Yeah. So if you're going to get a corner, if you're going to go from a corner, treasure it because it's like gold dust at this moment. You're never going to get it. Honestly, that's why you don't hear that a lot because they all hit the first man. I'd rather get like a free kick than a corner because then near that side because then I know I've got a bit more room. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the non-pen. I find it laughable when other Chelsea fans criticise other players for taking penalties. I go, so then Lampard's not our greatest ever goal scorer because you've got to take away about 50 penalties from him. We got to take one of our Champions Leagues, our first ever Champions League away because we won on penalties. It's mad because if he'd missed 3 of those penalties, Palmer, he'd be heavily criticised for it. So what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean? It's just madness.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. I want to go to some super chats here. First one says Jackson already done that one. Sorry, this one here says up the fucking Chelsea, hit the likes, people. Thank you, Slim GT. Jackson has more.
Here we
MPG.
go. Here we go.
Non-penalty goals and Salah. Yeah, he does. He does. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
You know, I love
that
Salah lives rent-free in the heads of like every single rival fan. Salah's not our main goal scorer. He's our main creator. And that's why he has the most big chances created in the entirety of the league. It's on Nunez to score the goals, so make the Jackson Nunez.
I was just looking at some stats while you guys were talking. So I was looking at Jackson, I was looking at Darwin, I was looking at Rasmus Højlund. Just for shits and giggles. This is mad, right? So the Jackson's actually played 600 minutes more than both of the other two. So he's on 2,600. They're on 2,000 minutes each. So shots created 4. So this is anything: crosses, drag, pull back, through balls. Darwin Nunez has had 85 goal scoring opportunities created for shooting opportunities created for him this year. Nicholas Jackson 61, Rasmus Højlund 30. Their shooting accuracies. So Nicholas Jackson is on 65% accuracy. Rasmus Højlund on 63% accuracy. Like on target, this is right. Wow. And then Darwin Nunez is at 52%. So he's way below them. Conversion rate. Nicholas Jackson on 22% conversion rate of his chances, of his shots that have gone in. Rasmus Højlund, 26% conversion rate. This is Darwin's problem. 12% conversion rate of those shots. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I stand as well when people go for my striker. Rasmus needs a lot of work. But if we would have created 85 shooting opportunities this season for Rasmus Højlund, at his current conversion rate and his shooting accuracy, he'd be sitting there with, he's got 8 Premier League goals. He'd have somewhere near 20. And imagine the lack of goals that Darwin Nunez would have if he only had 30 opportunities created for him this year. It's crazy. So this is the thing. Systems are important for everybody. And it isn't a surprise to me that Jackson is now looking better as Chelsea's system overall improves. It's the same for most players. That's why Darwin's under pressure, because he's in a team whose system is good enough to get him into title races, and he ain't looking better. There's a fundamental difference in the criticism for me, but that's just my take. Husam is so right. It's all down to Bowley. Poch has actually done okay, given that he's had a team full of kids, but of course, Don won't call out Clown Lake.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
I don't know where Don is.
They've gotten in a bunch of Brighton directors, and now they're Brighton 2.0, and they think Poch is the problem.
Why are you obsessed, Sam? Why are you obsessed with my club, Chelsea?
Jester, you get me? I'm sure Andrew can send you the link. You can come here and you can talk about Chelsea too. This is the Football Terrace, baby. Like and subscribe. Everyone's welcome on Match Reactions.
Yeah, this is true. Enzo injury has elevated Poch, Caicedo, and Chelsea. Listen, I think it's played a part, but I don't think it's necessarily down to Enzo. I think it could be the inverted nature of Cucurella is part of it. You have to wait and see for when he comes back. I think it's too easy and neat to say that. Blaze here, hope you're well, Blaze. He says that in my opinion, Klopp should also win Manager of the Year for getting bums like Soboslai, Endo, Nunez, Gakpo to challenge. Have your opinions, for Sam, but don't call us clubless for having ours. Clueless for having ours.
That's a perfectly valid opinion. I agree with you. Those bums are in a title challenge, so Klopp deserves credit. 100%.
If we're talking about Manager of the Year and what bums they've got up front, then Ange should get Manager of the Year, right? That's with those guys.
Yeah. Great shout. Gallagher has been playing non-stop. He deserves a rest. Yeah, I do still find him potentially being sold so strange. Not because I think he's an amazing player, but I don't remember a player being made captain, playing every game, being integral to the manager, and then the club selling him. I can't think of his age. I don't remember that happening. Can't think of an example.
I think Gallagher is just a service.
I just say this.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, shit.
Hello? You're all right, Andrew?
Sorry.
Sorry.
I was just saying. I didn't know if you knew you were still on air. I was worried about what you were going to say.
Sorry. No, listen. This thing that he deserves a rest. We've not been in Europe this year or gone far in Europe. So he's been playing. He's not as if we've been playing like multiple games per week. Listen, be a very good squad player. He would be good. When we went 3-2 up today, and you bring him on, that's what Gallagher would be good at. Bring him on at 3-2 up, chase around like he does. But listen, he's done well this season. I think the banner we got for him is well over the top that we got from at the ground. Yeah. But he's done well. And listen, I don't like you said. Maybe we don't need to sell him. But if he doesn't sign a contract, Terry, then we're gonna have to sell him. He's only got 1 year left.
I understand that. I understand that part. Slow movement was because Forest flooded the center of the pitch. Players had to find solutions in the match. They were still young and learning. Experience matters. It's fair. I thought Forest. Listen, I think Nuno. Everyone knows I've got a soft spot for Nuno. I think he's got Forest playing very, very well. And I mean, how did Chris Woods again with the miss? It's crazy to me. Crazy miss. It started with the Ronaldo memes. Ronaldo, yeah.
Yes, the penalty stuff was Ronaldo, definitely. 100%.
In the Premier League, I felt like it was Bruno before Ronaldo came back. I don't remember people slagging off Ronaldo.
Ronaldo hate is much bigger. Yeah,
but I don't remember seeing Ronaldo when he was at Real Madrid scoring 60, 70 goals a season.
You've got to also remember, Terry, that social media of football really only boomed during the lockdown. So we have no idea.
Very true. Very true. Very, very true. And look, Ronaldo gets called it as well. But again, he only gets called it because Messi wasn't very good at penalties, I felt. He seemed to miss quite a few, but I'll have to get the numbers. That's probably a misconception. We were slow in the first half because Nuno countered the inverted left back stuff. Poch fixed it in the second half, plus Gusto and James killed them. Injuries matter. Thank you, Neil. Andrew, where do you see your team being next season? Do you think you were going to have enough to challenge for the top 4?
I honestly don't know, because there's still going to be, whatever people think, there's still going to be questions over the manager in the summer with his comments that keep coming out, challenging above, and I'm fine with that. But it really depends who we get in. I need a goalkeeper and a striker top. That's what I need. Those are the 2 points of your spine in any team. So I need them 2 positions sorted out, and I need quality. Don't care how old they are. I need quality. I need quality and experience. You can be like 23, 24 and have all the experience. I just need that. And ask me after the transfer window, the day after the transfer window, and I'll let you know. But at the moment, I can. If you get me that challenging top 4, fine. I can see us doing that.
I'll be honest with you, I think Chelsea
Can I
getting
ask
top four
something?
next
If
season.
he quit,
I
sorry,
see.
Sam. Sorry, Sam. Andrew, if he quits, would you be okay with that? Because he
Don't
said
be
yesterday that he
egotistical,
might,
Andrew.
because
Don't be
he might,
egotistical. Just say the truth. Say the
bro.
truth.
If he quits, I won't be bothered.
He said yesterday that everybody's saying, "What if the owners?" And what if he quits and goes to Spain again? And he says, "I'm done with this. I'm not happy with this ownership. They're still buying youngsters as they are. You still sign someone for 30 million euros from Brazil."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm done with this." And he got a better offer from someone in Spain or something. Would you be all right with that? Would you be happy?
I mean, if he quits, I couldn't care less. I just then focus on the board about who we bring in. My then, as it is right now, even when he's here, my focus is on the directors and the owners because I want the directors gone as well. The directors are not good enough. You know what I mean? So if they're going to still, because unfortunately, if they don't go, that means they're going to make the decision of who comes in next. And they vetted Poch for like 2 months before they actually, we didn't like go, "Oh, Poch, come here quick" like that. They got vetted for 2 months, like he was on The Apprentice or something. Do you know what I mean? So it's listen. Husam knows. I've made up my mind about Poch. But if he stays though, I'm not going to argue all summer about why he should go.
Do you guys know what the problem with Chelsea fans are? And I'm talking not only to Andrew, right? I am actually talking to the people in the chat and majority of the Chelsea fans. You guys think if Poch leaves, right, you're gonna get Pep Guardiola or Jurgen Klopp? That's what you think is gonna happen. A lot of Chelsea fans think that if Poch goes, they're gonna go and get the next big thing. It might not work.
That's mad.
It might not work. A lot of people think that, bro. A lot of people say,
I know, but that's because
we are getting this and that. A lot. I've spoken to a lot of them. We're gonna go get Hansi Flick. When Hansi Flick is talking to Bayern Munich.
But Mo, you and I have heard it, haven't you? We've all heard, bring back Jose Mourinho. Why? Why would you bring back Jose Mourinho to this mess? Why would you do that? Well, it's just a
they
false
think
habit.
Chelsea fans, think Thomas Tuchel is gonna solve the problem.
Do you know what it is? Listen, I understand. I've still got reservations over Poch as a manager that can get them over the line to win major trophies. So I do understand the logic of wanting someone who's got major trophies on their CV. That does make sense to me in that regard. But where can this Chelsea team be next year? If they go out this summer, I know they're looking at this young kid, Willian. It makes a lot of sense to maybe buy this 16-year-old, 17-year-old, because you look at the other teams that are all willing to pay 50, 60, 70 million for him. He looks like a talent. But I wouldn't, that for me is, I don't put that in the same category as all the other youngsters they've bought. That's someone that could be a superstar.
If they go out this summer and buy
Exactly. If you guys go out and buy 4 experienced, good quality players, 24, 25, 26-year-olds this summer, and add them to your team, and next season you don't have the vat of injuries, they are without doubt Chelsea challenging for the top 4 next year. Which I know some people will say that isn't success. They'll have a chance in the cup competitions. Let's see how they handle it. And who knows after that point. So this Chelsea team isn't a million miles away, but they've got to getting it right this summer is key because of the financial issues. If you went out and spend big again and it don't work, then you end up in a situation, if you've sold a lot of youngsters and you've sold your hotels, then it's now where do we go?
And do you know what the other issue is?
Has to be very good.
You know what the other issue is? This manager market stinks right now, right? It's all everyone's got massive question marks. That's my biggest fear. Is that everyone who you can bring in, they might even have better CVs than Poch because they've won their leagues, and I totally understand that. But that's my biggest fear. I mean, Sam's not happy with Slot. We already know he's not happy with Slot. He's already said it.
Yeah,
and you've got Man United linked to Southgate. I mean, if I was linked to Southgate, I would probably leave the country, but that's just me. But then you've got like Almarim and who else? Hansi Flick. Hansi Flick's been out of work for like 2 years now, 2.5 years now. Why hasn't he picked up a job? It's just that's my biggest thing of who are we going to get in next? Because they'll still have massive question marks on them because everyone's going to change. If we bring Almarim in, our system changes to wing back system. I know we played that before under Tuchel, but we haven't played that for like 3 years, or 2 years or something like that. So have we got the players currently right now?
Logical, and then he says Poch out at the end, which makes no sense.
If we aren't getting Thomas Tuchel, we should keep Poch. It makes sense. Grey
Why
Wolf
do you
Dinner
have to
here.
get Thomas Tuchel? What's this obsession with Thomas Tuchel at this club? He's so overrated.
I'm going to say this as well. Tuchel's team and Clear Lake have both briefed the media independently of one another, and they neither want to do it. So I think it's something Chelsea fans have just got to learn to get over.
He wasn't fired for footballing reasons. He was not fired for footballing reasons at this club.
Exactly. Caicedo was my man of the match. Is bossing games now that he has Cucurella in support. Guy is linking defense to attack. Reason Caicedo's name is quiet on socials is because he's mostly putting in minimum sevens. Yeah, Caicedo's looked really good recently. Of course, if you overanalyze and nitpick, there'll be that pass that he made out to the right in the first half that went out for a throw. Those things happen. The best players in the world have done that. He's starting to look very, very good indeed. Terry, if Chelsea sack Poch, will you take it? No, it's someone actually said to me earlier, Terry, you wanted Ten Hag over Poch. Would you now change that? No, the football might look better. I've still got the same reservations over Poch. I wouldn't change my mind on him. So no, it's not a dig. It's not because I think we're better than you because you're better than us right now. It's nothing like that. Something about Poch I don't like. I've been consistent with that. It's not because he's a Chelsea manager. I just don't know if he can get you over the line. But maybe he could be a guy that builds Chelsea a team over the next couple of seasons that plays brilliant football and you then move on to a different manager. But I wouldn't personally take him at Man United.
Sorry, if he gets Europa League football, he's staying. That's what I'm telling you right now.
No, I understand that.
He's staying.
Yeah.
No matter what Chelsea fans, even me, I'll accept he's staying. And I'm not going to argue about Poch in and out over the summer.
I get that. What I will say to that, Zane, I have said on a show this morning on the squad that even if Man United bring in Southgate, I'm not going to kick off and go mad. So if he did get sacked and we hired him, even though it goes against my personal preference, I would accept it. I've actually made this conscious decision. I will be, no matter who we sign as manager, I'm not going to moan about it. I'm just going to sit back and let it marinade. That's it. That's all I can do. And the biggest reason for it is two. One, I've been asking for football decision makers, and if they make those decisions, I'm going to get behind them. Secondly, I'm just so sick and tired of being angry at my club. I'm just going to go for a different approach from next season. Might as well give it to Ten Hag for taking United to a cup final. Oh, what? For the manager of the year? Oh, you did. There's an element of truth to that. Which Premier League club is going to have a mega transfer window, City and Arsenal aside? Man United are going to. Man United, Liverpool. I think Chelsea will spend big. I think Spurs will spend quite a bit of money this year as well. Look out for Aston Villa. Aston Villa is an interesting one because they're under pressure with FFP, but they're going to get Champions League money. They're going to sell a few. I think there'll be a few teams that sell. I think there'll be a few teams that sell and spend a lot of money.
Crystal Palace.
Don's with us. Don's here. What you saying, bro?
Yeah, listen. I'll take that W in it. I'll take that W. I can't lie because it wasn't an amazing performance. In all honesty, Terry. I think there was a lot of players today that weren't at the level that we've seen in the past few games. I think in that first half we kept breaking down our attacks, man. Every time we'd get on the ball, I'm seeing Jackson just constantly on the ball, just kept losing it. You know what I'm saying? Kept losing it. Caicedo as well. He wasn't that good on the ball today in that first half. In all honesty, Palmer. Listen, he found a little bit of brilliance in that pass straight to Mudryk. And those are the sort of passes that you want for the Mudryks and the Maduekis, where it's very, very hard for them to miss. It was a perfect pass. Mudryk killed it on that first touch, obviously to bury it in the bottom bins there. Perfect finish. Do you know what I'm saying? But again, Forest, they weren't giving up, bro. They weren't giving up. And I did say before the game, Terry, I told you, I said it's not going to be an easy game playing against Forest because these lot are fighting for their life. They weren't letting us get comfortable. But how I was looking at it, I was thinking, the dynamic building up from the back ain't great at the minute. And for me, Chalobah was affecting that quite a bit because the first few seconds I realized when he was getting on the ball, he wasn't comfortable. Like he had Hudson-Odoi pressing him and he just kept losing it. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was praying, I was saying, listen, we need to get Gusto on as soon as possible, to actually help change the dynamic in the team and help us attack a little bit better. Second half, the changes that he made, they were good, bro. He made them quite early. He brought in Cuckoo, he brought in Gusto. And straight away, you saw on that right-hand side was building up quite nicely, and again was attacking quite a bit there when Jackson moved to the right-hand side as well. You know what I mean? But listen, that goal from Hudson-Odoi, man, that's what keeps happening to us at the minute, Andrew. Like we've got Havertz coming back now and scoring against us. Hudson-Odoi, he warned us just before that, Terry, don't let me cut in onto my right hand side, like on my right foot. He used to score goals like that in the academy all the time. Do you know what I mean? So that's his bag. But we invited him to finish like that, bro. And for me, I'm looking at him thinking, come on, man, we can't go out like this. You know, we can't go out like this. But we'll find a little bit of quality with Sterling. Nice finish. You know, yeah, mentality there. He brought in Sterling. Obviously took off Mudryk. Nice finish from Sterling because he's actually scored a couple goals like that this year, to be fair. And he scored a couple goals like that for City as well. So that was a good finish from him. And then Reece James, bro. You know, Reece James on for what? How long was he on for? 10 minutes or something like that? And this is what this guy can bring to the team, you know. I wouldn't say that we've missed Reece James because Gusto. I wouldn't say that we've missed Reece James because Gusto's been stepping up for us. You know, whilst he hasn't been there, but there's certain parts in the game like Gusto where he will get the ball and he could just whip it, but he hesitates too much. But one thing that Reece James does, he will just see the pass and he will play it one time. Do you know what I'm saying? And it was a good chance for Jackson there to finish on his head because we all know Jackson's not good with his head, you know. So I'll take those points in it. I think overall we could have played better, but those subs definitely helped change the game because again, in that first half, was lacking a lot of quality in that final third, man. A lot of quality. In the second half, did really well, man.
This is just showing though that like the issue wasn't Poch. Like, yes, he has problems, but overall the issue was it hasn't been Poch. It's never been Poch. You know what I mean? The players have let him down massively. So many games have we said that he coached a 4-0 win and those guys didn't freaking score. And then you got the guys in between.
It's never been Poch, KJ. Come on now.
No. I said it's not been the sole problem. He's never been the sole problem.
No one said he has. He's part of the problem.
No, I'm just saying loads of Chelsea fans.
You speak like he's the sole problem, though.
And people speak like he's the sole problem. And this is the thing. You guys from preseasons to show that you can play good football. You got loads of injuries in the season, and your ownership have been doing foolishness, which again the Chelsea fans don't really chat about. Besides a certain sect of your fan base, there's one sect of your fan base that's all they talk about, right? But the majority of the fan base don't talk about Clear Lake, don't talk about Bowley, don't talk about how you've got your directors picking these players and had the wrong recruitment plan. And I think literally next season, Chelsea must stick with him. Because think about this, yeah? You guys have had 4 managers in 2 years. That's insane. You had 4 managers in 2 years. How can any of these young players that they've bought find any form or consistency when literally it's chopping and changing? Yeah, people can say, oh, yeah, man, you chop and change. But we at least give managers 2 years. We've given every manager since Moyes 2 years to prove themselves.
But KJ. But the thing is, KJ.
You gave Tuchel a few months. Granted, that's not the guy they wanted. So I can understand him going in terms of the ownership point of view. They want their own guy. They said their guy was Potter. They gave him a couple of months, gone. Gave it to Lampard to try and wreck his season somehow. Not failed, typically. Now they got Poch. And Todd Bowley's coming out and saying, oh, yeah, this is the kind of football we want to play. Their plans coming together. But yet then they're looking to sack him or fans want him sacked. It doesn't make sense.
But fans don't run the football.
It does make sense, bro, because it's not like people are saying get Poch out. It does make sense though, KJ, because it's not like Poch has been playing like this all season and then people have an agenda to get him out. Because people like me wanted this guy for the young players. You know what I'm saying? I wanted Poch to do well, and I'm glad that he's found a way to hopefully finish the season off well and hopefully get us into Europe. But like I said, start of the season, what he was doing at the beginning, bro, was digging his own grave, and this is clear proof. Because when he went back to what was working in pre-season, when he went back to what we were seeing, when he went back to what Terry and everyone else, most rivals were saying Chelsea looked like they're going to cook, look what's happening. We're playing better. Like even today, we weren't amazing, but how we're set up allowed us to actually... Hold on, KJ. What I'm saying is how we're set up has allowed us today to actually find the win. And again, the in-game management has been good. The things that I've been criticizing him about, he's been able to show me today that he can actually do that, But the thing is, obviously, like for me, I can't ignore how many injuries the guy's had. That's why it's taken long for me to say like, 3 strikes for Poch, because I was feeling a little bit. I had to be a little bit lenient because we had a lot of injuries. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't mean that you should be playing multiple people out of position. But that doesn't mean that you should be playing multiple people out of position. The last time we played Forest at home, bro, we started that game with 2 attackers. You know what I'm saying in that game? And I'm looking at it, thinking, why are you playing Ben Chilwell left wing? But I don't want to. Today's not even about to slander Poch, because end of the day, he has been doing things incorrectly week after week from the beginning of the season, bro. Where I'm looking at it and thinking, yo, a manager of your experience should know better. You know, so now he's showing us that he can actually be a little bit competent, and I hope that carries on. You know what I'm saying?
I want to just a welcome to the show, mate. What are you here to say, bro, as a Chelsea fan?
Yeah, I think a lot of the waffle I've heard today is because people don't understand what's going on with not only Chelsea, but in the Premier League as well. We're going to find out next month. Actually, excuse me, it's going to be a month after the season or closer by, that the whole system that everybody's been playing with under the last 10 years and that last decade is gone. The rules are going to change. So no team should be going out and dropping a whole crap ton of money on experienced players. Well, I don't even know what that means anymore, that want 350, 400K a week, because you have to fit them underneath a new cap structure coming in 25, 26. So you're telling me we should go out and expand our wage bill, which now stands at about 150 million pounds of the active players we have, not the ones on loan. If you sit there around 200 and above, and you can only spend 450, how are you going to make any transfers? Because your annuitized transfers go in that pot, and the agent's fees go in that pot. And as of right now, there are no offsets. So player sales don't even count. But I'm supposed to say, ownership, go out and screw the whole budget because a few fans that have never run a football team, not even played professional football, think we should go out and blow a ton of cash on experienced players who we just got rid of a whole bunch of experienced players. Name the experienced players that we got rid of that are having a great season. Please. You can't. This notion.
I mean, Koulibaly just won the Saudi league.
In Saudi. That's a real league now. That's a real league now.
Somebody. I give you one. You know
I understand that new caps and new rules are coming in. I mean, the problem that you have is that you can't. No club can just stand still for the next 2 years. But Chelsea's situation, as you'll know, Jester, is very different to other clubs because Man United and Man City, as an example, are currently below those new thresholds that are coming into place. So if we get rid of some big wages, which we're going through, Martial, Varane, Casemiro, we can go and do that. Chelsea's situation, if you look at the new UEFA rules of 70%, you're currently £152 million over that limit. So I understand where you're coming from when you say we can't just go out in the summer and spend 300 million and put them all on massive wages, because that potentially could cripple you in terms of FFP and profit and sustainability. So I think Chelsea's scenario is a little different to other members of the top six, but I do get where you're coming from. But at the same time, are you just happy then for Chelsea to go out and keep buying youngsters that are on cheaper wages and wait for them to mature? Is that what you're saying?
But there's a whole new structure coming into place. Every club's going to have to do this, because if you have a cap, everybody can spend this amount of money, right? Yes. You have to start building a system to where you can get freebies, right? You can get cheap transfers from your feeder clubs that you don't have to pay.
So you understand? You're not talking about the new FFP that comes in next year. You're talking about the cap. I understand that.
Well, I do understand. That's 25-26. PRS comes in.
Yeah, well, the cap is that coming in. Obviously, UEFA's 70% rule, I think, comes into play next year, which is a different.
Well, I'm just talking about England right now, because
but we've got to look at both. If you're in Europe, you can't just focus on one. And I get you with the cap, but again, it's the cap is going to. I do get where you're coming from. So, what's your suggestion for the next 2 years then for Chelsea and other clubs when it comes to spending money?
Just start building. Like City has already a head start. RB Leipzig has a head start. They have feeder clubs. They bring in talent. You don't even know where this talent comes from. You don't hear about half of them.
You think
they're at Girona, they're here and there.
So you kind of feel like Chelsea is sort of a cooking in disguise a little bit, and it's going to all by sort of 25-26, we're going to see that everything that Clear Lake have been doing is going to pay dividends for Chelsea.
The thing is, yeah, I hear what Justice saying, but at the same time, you still need to focus on the now. Like, it's all good in principle, and when you're looking at it and thinking, yeah, this is what we could be, with Paez and Esteval in 2027, 2028. But listen, if you don't fix the now, by the time you get there, a lot of players might have left that are here already. Do you know what I'm saying? So we need to make sure that we do both. We need to have a good balance. They can't just be focusing on the future. You know what I'm saying? We need to make sure that we get a good balance. Like today was clear proof. The other week we had 14 injuries. We had to have a lot of youth team players. Poch struggled a little bit. You know, today it was easier for him to bring on Nkuku, bring on Gustos and that sort of quality. So they need to bring a balance of both, man.
Yeah, I get that. Just yeah, go on, KJ, and then I'll do the final super chat.
About the multi-club thing as well. Like clubs have to be careful about this multi-club model that's starting to like become more popular. Obviously, Chelsea doing with the blue. I think theirs is called the Blue Co or the Blue Group, whatever they call. You got the City Group, obviously. European clubs are not liking this. So a lot of teams in Europe do not like the fact that this is happening. You got all these different club models. RB obviously is the biggest, most famous one. All these models are coming into football, and I've seen reports saying that they are petitioning to get these things either stopped or limited or banned from happening because they feel like it's manipulating the sport and all of these things. So I think it's a good idea, and I think I have no personal issue with it. But if there's come a time where that becomes banned or limited or regulated, like most things do in football, you can't just rely on that being your sole source of growing.
Yeah. I hear where you're coming from. This is as United fans defending Poch because of injuries, the owner's recruitment, and players letting him down, but not giving Ten Hag the same leeway.
Okay, so this is clearly at me, Colin. Fair enough. But here's the thing: Poch and Ten Hag's situations are two completely different ones. The only thing that they've got in common is injuries. Number one, this is Poch's first season in this mess of a club. Ten Hag has been here for 2. Poch has come with a clear system that he's been trying to implement. Ten Hag had one system and then completely changed it to another one for whatever reason, and it's failed. Okay, the recruitment, he was a part of the recruitment. He was the one that picked up most of the players that we've got. He fought for Mount, he fought for Anthony, he fought for Amrabat, he fought for Ericsson, Hoyland. All these signings that Ten Hag has got, most of them he's fought for. So you can't say he's...
And if we were playing football that looked as nice as Chelsea's does right now, I don't think there'd be many people saying move him on. You can't dismiss the way the football is being played, Colin. But thank you for the super chat. People never read between the lines with young players these days. Jackson's raw at 22, but the upside is clear. A lot of disingenuous takes. 23 GA. Agreed. There's a player in there. Doesn't mean you shouldn't look for better, but there's certainly a player in there. This is a Winter Surfer. It says Tuchel had Chelsea in 6 finals. How is he overrated?
1-1.
How many finals did we win?
We won.
Well, to be fair, you lost on pens like quite a few times.
Doesn't
So,
matter.
Okay.
I can remember some of them, man. Like when we played Leicester in the final,
He dropped Mendy and put Kepa in goal, and they scored a long shot.
Surprise.
that one went in.
He's overrated.
I want to thank everybody who's tuned in. Thank you very much indeed. Please hit the like button before you go. Please make sure you're subscribing. Back tomorrow morning with Fan Channel Review. And then, of course, the big one in the afternoon, Manchester United hosting Arsenal. Oh, I don't want to watch it.
Hey, we're all united tomorrow. We're all united tomorrow.
Glory, man, United. So much.
Do you need a 24-hour loan of some players?
I look at Terry.
We'll work that out.
Terry, just let Adam host that show. Let all the Arsenal fans on, and we just don't turn up because we know what time's gonna be. You know what time's gonna be. These guys are like Don down below me. He's hoping for United to turn up, bruv. I tell you what, yeah, we ain't turning up for that, bruv.
I'm hoping for a draw.
We have more chance than Nan turning up at a party and a rave than Man United turning up at the game. That's
listen, people. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Take care. Goodbye. God bless, and we'll see you all again.